General Nigerian Law School, Chairman. Of course, let me also traditional rulers and royal fathers who are here.
Personal experience, encounter of my children when they were to go to law school some 3 years ago. For 1 whole year, they were at home. And the reason was there's not just a place for them to go for law school. Then some of our neighbors came to make the same demand that their children at home, they couldn't go to law school. So they stay at home for about 1.5 years. And I said to myself as a lawmaker, my responsibility is to see how we can make law for good governance for our country, to ensure justice, fairness for all. That is the fundamental reason why I decided to sponsor this bill. And let nobody be in doubt of the intention. I hold the view that if, as a senator, my children cannot easily get admission, then what happened to less privileged Nigerians? So that is just the reason behind us thinking of amending this law. When I first discussed this issue with principal officers of the Senate, a good number of them objected. But I sat down with them and I gave them superior arguments of the number of available vacancies and the ever-increasing number of students that will continue to graduate from Nigerian universities. As I speak to you, we have about 55 universities running degree program in law. The implication of it is a good number of them may not be able to get admission in the next 4 years, as it is today. Don't forget that universities in Nigeria, virtually annually, they have been registered, federal, states, and private universities. Now, democracy, one of the hallmarks of democracy is that everybody will have a way to actualize his dream. In a democratic setting, our responsibility as lawmakers is to provide the avenue, enable environment that will enable every Nigerian to attain set goals and objectives. Education is key, is fundamental. And that explains why we came into reasoning of sponsoring this bill. The principal officers initially objected, but I gave them the statistics. They had to agree with me. Now, as a journalist, I am not a politician. I don't speak like some of my colleagues because we are journalists. And as a journalist, I want to say, sir, that I've traveled around the nooks and corners of this country.
Well, distinguished senator, the less controversial issues you raise, the better for you, so that you are not eating to your time.
Yes, I can understand, Mr. Chairman. You know, I speak my heart all the time. Now, I'm saying that I have traveled around this country, and there's no state of Nigeria I'm not familiar with their terrain. I've had cause to visit over 2.5 of the local government in each state of Nigeria, so I know Nigeria very well. So in coming to terms with the reality of establishing more campuses, we came to the fact that there's a need to have 6 across the 6 geopolitical zones since we run the federal system of government. And we said there's a need to have 1 in addition to the one in Buhari in the north-central states of Nigeria. And we proposed Kaba. Kaba is a home that is peaceful and is a home of intellectuals. Kaba was the second state community that Sadana of Sokoto saw and agreed to make a citadel of education by establishing the Agriculture College there, now ABU Campus College of Agriculture, in 1963. So we felt there's the need to put that school there. Then again, we came with the Northeast. We said there's a need to put 1 in the northeastern state of Nigeria. And we came to terms of the need to put a campus in Maiduguri. And that explains why quite a number of our colleagues are here. Because Maiduguri people by nature are very peaceful people. When you see them, they say, Allah Goro, Allah Goro. So we have decided to put a campus in Maiduguri. Then Northwest, we propose Arugungu for Northwest. Arugungu people, they love visitors, perhaps more than themselves. And that explains why Arugungu is a place where we have the annual fishing festival. It's a very peaceful place. So we propose Arugungu for a campus. Now we've talked about Northwest, North-Southeast. Well, as a journalist, I visited all around this country. I know the southeastern state of Nigeria very well, from Enugu to Ibuku to Nnewi to Oba. I know those areas very well. And I've had cause to stay in Okija on 2, 3, 4 occasions. And I know they have about 3, 4 universities in Okija. So I have decided to say, look, my colleagues, let us put 1 campus in Okija. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we came to the realization of the fact that Nigeria is a federation. And we cannot continue to allow some people to suffer when there's solution, or we could provide solutions to their problem. The idea of having 6 law schools is to make sure that there's opportunities for all. Of course, we are not unmindful of the fact that there's already a law school under construction in Port Harcourt. This bill, I hope, Mr. Chairman, will take care of that one in Port Harcourt so that we can have peace. So we can have peace. So, ladies and gentlemen, Your Royal Highnesses, this bill is simply to make sure that every graduate of law is given the opportunity to be able to pursue his career by going to a law school. Every Nigerian deserves to have the best that is available. And if the children of the so-called privileged are finding it difficult to get admission to law school, what happens to the children of the common people? I hold the view that any of us who believe that there must be justice, fairness, equity for all, I think we should support the fact that there's a need for additional law schools. Bearing in mind that the faculty of law and universities are continually increasing, we cannot afford to stock our people, our students, our children in the existing 6 campuses. Having additional 6 universities, to me, is just the minimum, because nobody can come out to say that Nigeria will have so number of universities. In the next 5 years, you don't know the number of universities we are going to have. So what happens? We must think and plan ahead. The idea of some of the problems confronting our nation today lies on the fact that we didn't plan ahead. Let us plan ahead to have additional campuses so that the children of the less privileged who want to actually practice law will have a law school that they can go and attain their set goals and their vision. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, I hereby submit.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and our guest, I am not speaking now representing only Rivers East Central District. I am speaking on behalf of all the National Assembly members from Rivers State, the senators and the members of House of Representatives. You will observe all of us who are available in Abuja are here, except those on oversight functions. Mr. Chairman, our interest is in the bill on the Legal Education Consultation Act 10, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill, seeking to provide additional law school centers in the country, actually proposing 2 in each geopolitical zone. Mr. Chairman, we developed the interest perhaps to inform you of what may have been inadvertently omitted. We say so because, as a chairman, I know you very well that you do the right thing and you do that which you think is right. I also appreciate my friend Senator Smart Adeyemi, he is not here, who said he didn't know that Rivers State is hosting one of the campuses. So, Mr. Chairman, what the Rivers State government has done or is doing is completely in agreement with the tenet and the provisions of this bill. What is the tenet? To provide additional spaces for the law school because of the problems we've all observed as Nigerians. And Mr. Chairman, sometime early this year, the governor of Rivers State, on behalf of the government and the people of Rivers State, having seen the plight of Nigerian students who study law, and some of them staying in their houses for several years before they gain admission into the law school, approached the Council of Legal Education and asked them if they will accept an offer to give a campus of law school in Rivers State to be sited in Port Harcourt. He wrote to them, and after a couple of weeks or months, they responded. The Council of Legal Education responded on the 4th of June, and Office of Attorney General responded, on the 21st of June, and Office of Attorney General responded on the 22nd of June. And as that was done within a short period, the CFO of the land where the school was to be built was given to them. And then groundbreaking was done. Today, as I speak, it is going to be one of the best campuses I'm sure we can talk about in Nigeria. And the structures are either 80% or over 80%. I know Rivers has sent a very powerful delegation here, but we think, as your colleagues, we are struggling in these murky waters of politics here with you. We should be given the opportunity at least to mention this. So what are we really asking for? First, we support the position of the Rivers State government and its people that will be presented here. We are in support of it. Two, we pray that you include Port Harcourt as one of the campuses in this bill. So when it will become an act, we don't have to go through a process of attracting or asking us to be included. Now that it is very fresh and we are working on it, we pray that you put into it. I think as Nigerians, we supposed to stand by the governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike, on his vision for the suffering of the student in Nigeria, and thereby attracting this structure to assist, not Rivers people, to assist Nigerian students who have not been able to gain admission into this institution. So we stand completely by that great vision. And Mr. Chairman, we plead that whatever it is, check your schedule and put it there so that we are Rivers State, Port Harcourt campus is not ignored or not included. Thank you very much and God bless you.
And our committee did not sponsor this bill. The bill was referred to our committee, and we're just doing what we need to do. And I'm sure one of the things we are going to do almost immediately after this public hearing, as a matter of fact, before we do our final report, is for our committee to pay an oversight visit to Port Harcourt. And I'm saying this because all the stakeholders are here, and the Council of Legal Education is here. We will go with the Council of Legal Education. We'll go to Rivers, and we'll see what's going on for ourselves. But that's a matter on which we'll discuss further. I'll bring Senator Ike Ikoremadu to the microphone for 2 minutes, and please, he will speak for the whole of Southeast, so that if I don't take any other colleague from Southeast, no one takes offense. It's not just speaking for Okija, he's speaking for Southeast.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my dear distinguished colleagues, my learned friends. As a concerned lawyer, Mr. Chairman, I'm aware that the law school was established in Lagos in the 60s, and it served all the lawyers that were trained for over 40 years. I went to law school in Lagos from Enugu, and there I met the present DG of the law school. We came from different parts of Nigeria, and I'm aware that nobody has failed the law school because of where he came from, and nobody has passed because of where he came from. The law school is one of the most respected institutions in Nigeria. So I feel sad that anybody is trying to politicize the law school. So my submission, Mr. Chairman, is that if there is any need to establish a law school in Anambra or Boronu or in Ekiti, anywhere, it must be on need, not because of political consideration. And that is consistent with the history of the law school. I was secretary to the Enugu State government when the need to expand the law schools in Nigeria came. It wasn't based on any geopolitical consideration. And I'm aware the Enugu State government volunteered to foot the bill of about 80% of that law school, which is exactly what the River State government is doing today. So if there's need tomorrow to build additional law school, say in the Northwest, I'm sure that the law school, the Nigerian Council of Legal Education, will be responsible enough to ensure that that happens. And I'm sure that some states will help them to do that. So my submission, therefore, Mr. Chairman, is that while we listen to our friends, our colleagues, because that's the purpose of the public hearing, at the time we look at this thing critically, we must be able to take a decision that the issue of law school, the establishment of more law schools should be left at the hands and discretion of the Council of Legal Education. And so
Well, to confirm to all of you that as a committee, we didn't sit anywhere to take a position. Members are still free to hold on to their own opinions and express their own opinions. That is a decision that is yet to be taken, and of course will be done via the majority rule. But if what you are doing through clapping is also talking, we heard you loud and clear. We are here as elected representatives of the Nigerian people. One of our colleagues sponsored a bill. The bill was referred to our committee.
And let's compare apples. Brazil has the same population with Nigeria. There are 1,240 law schools in Brazil, and Brazil has 800,000 lawyers. They have more lawyers per capita than the United States of America, that has 1,330,000 lawyers. So with all due respect to the elder statesman, Senator Ikwere Madu, when he went to law school 40 years ago, what was the population of Nigeria? So now our population has increased, and I think I am fully in support of giving autonomy to the Council of Legal Education to make decisions. But then law schools need to be opened up to give more opportunities to Nigerians to go to the law school.
Mr. Chairman, I thought that I'll be unfair to myself and to our profession if I didn't get up to caution that we should make haste slowly so that we don't, as Senator Kwerimado rightly stated, we don't politicize legal education in our country. It's very gratifying seeing the quality and the interest that is on display here. Speaks to the growing confidence that our people have in our democracy and our capacity to respond to the yearnings of our people. But Mr. Chairman, I thought as a lawyer, senior lawyer myself, I would be unfair to myself and our profession if I don't add a caution that even if in the existing laws we have powers to legislate, and by so doing establish new campuses and appoint headquarters of where they should be located, I think that is a power we should exercise slowly. Because as it is, the law empowers the Council of Legal Education, working with the stakeholders to address the issues of additional campuses, to respond to the growing need for more lawyers. There's no argument that we need more facilities to accommodate the growing number of young people entering the legal profession. That is gratifying. We should encourage that. There's also nothing stopping anybody from making that case to the Council of Legal Education and to the appropriate agencies where and whenever the need arises. And that is what has been done. And just before I take my seat, please, let's be clear, no one is against the establishment of additional campuses in the designated areas, as the bill has proposed. No one is against that. But our caution is that by doing so, even if we do have the powers to do, which for me I have some doubt about it, but even if we had the powers to do so, I will advise caution. We should rather leave that to be exercised by the Council of Legal Education, because it has been done severally, and that is what the government of Rivers State has done. You propose to support Council of the Legal Education in our country, you communicate with the Council of Legal Education. You make the case, everyone knows, and that is a responsibility the federal authorities can't do alone. So they will welcome those states and other well-meaning people who want to support building law schools. But that has to be decided by the appropriate authorities, and not, in my view, by way of a legislation as this bill is seeking to do. And so I'm not against what my good friend and my chairman of my committee, my good friend, we're governors together, Senator Chetima, who has made a passionate case, and all who want law schools. I'm not against that, but I'm only saying, Mr. Chairman, before I take my seat, that we should make it slowly so that we don't politicize legal education, which is the responsibility of the Council of Legal Education. And I support the Rivers State government. Thank you.
Legal education. But like I said, members are expressing their opinion. Part of what we have on record, for instance, is that if things had been done normally, we would not even be having the issue we are having today. Rivers was first offered to host a law school campus. It was because of the rejection that it ended up in Bayelsa. It was good to listen to Senator Ikeremadu. Why would he not speak the way he spoke? There's a campus of Nigerian Law School in Enugu. And the point is this: we are elected representatives of the people. Even the Council of Legal Education that we're talking about is under our own oversight authority. If we're talking about, if we're talking about ensuring that things are not politicized, ensuring that things are done properly, for instance, as elected representatives of the people, would we have said, if you have a campus of Nigerian Law School in Yenagoa, that the next place you now set it to is Port Harcourt, the very next town? Is it geopolitical, interest that we're protecting here? Does it not even violate it? But what do you say to a man, a governor, or a people who have done so much to support legal education, to support the profession itself, so much for the judiciary, so much for the Nigerian Law School, who also willingly and enthusiastically said, oh, you're giving me the approval, we will fund the establishment of a Nigerian Law School. What do you say to such a man? We take a work from you, go and put down the structures. It's for us to manage. As universities are established every now and then, colleges of education, polytechnics, sometimes by the executive arm of government, without even as an administrative decision. But they still come to Parliament to seek the establishment, law as an enabling law. But these are issues that we don't need to put in the public domain and begin to discuss. Stakeholders are here. And you can now see why I had wanted us to even take this bill one after the other. Nobody is talking about legal practitioners, act, which is even more important as far as I am concerned. But it is interesting that we're here discussing these things. Like I said, we have two more geopolitical zones. Senator Olujimi can quickly come to the microphone to do that, because once I turn This microphone.
They say, Ajoje Odun, Beni Kooni, and it translates as such. You are saying we should all eat together. You have, I do not, and you say it's well. How can it be well? All the people that have spoken against the establishment of these law schools all have law schools established in their states. And that is to say that all of us know that we need these institutions. I am wondering, in the House of Reps and in the Senate, 70% of the people who are there are lawyers. What would have happened if they didn't have the opportunity of attending law schools? All our children have gone to school. They've come out. They're all going back to read law just because there's interest and you are shutting them out. That is not to be, because Nigeria is supposed to be for all of us. And so I have just come in the few minutes to thank the sponsor of this bill, because it will make for good fortune for all our children. And it will also help us expand law education in Nigeria.
To build 2 hostels in Yanagua and Yola campuses of the Nigerian Law School. This spate of poor funding for capital projects has led to the inevitable absence of critical teaching and training aids that the Nigerian Law School needs to train the next generation of lawyers to be competitive in the emerging legal market. Some news reports have put the cost of constructing the new campuses that we are proposing at 32 billion naira, if that is to be believed. I would say that if this sum is plowed into the targeted infrastructure progress in the already existing campuses of the Nigerian Law School, we will do much more and will make better use of it than to create new law schools. I align myself with the views expressed by other speakers. Creation of new law schools should be on a needs basis, and that need can only be determined by the Council of Legal Education. The bill seeks to create 6 additional campuses of the Nigerian Law School and list specific locations. For the proposed campus in the South-South, this is a key issue. Orogun in Delta State is the location. And we have discussed this already, and Senator Adeyemi has made clarifications. I want to believe that going forward, we are not ignoring the fact that there is already a law school approved for Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Finally, distinguished Senator, the resources of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are wearing thin by the day. It is therefore important and expedient that these scarce resources are allocated in a way and a manner that will bring the most benefit to the citizens of Nigeria. Having outlined the reasons why we are concerned about the proposal to build additional campuses of the Nigerian Law School, we urge your committee to look into the 2022 Appropriation Act and provide adequate funding for the Council of Legal Education to maintain and upgrade the facilities in the already existing campuses. Mr. Chairman, in my capacity as President of the Bar, I sit on the Council of Legal Education. But having said that, I speak on this occasion as President of the Bar, and I commit to you that even with regard to this bill, the MBA is available to work with your committee to achieve a situation that will work for the majority of Nigerians. We are not for blocking access to anybody, but the numbers that are before me, the numbers I see with regard to carrying capacity, with regard to law schools in the various universities, what we have today is adequate. We need to fund it properly and then begin to plan for the future. And if I may add, the world that we are moving into, brick and mortar law schools may not actually be fashionable. So let us also consider that while we are having a... Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, I humbly ask that you consider my application for Chief Anthony Idigbe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to speak also on behalf of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you.
The Council of Legal Education, without equivocation, is opposed to this bill. The reason why we oppose to the bill is that it is within the power of the Council of Legal Education to create campuses. But what the misconception that we have seen here is there is a thinking or a conception that by creating Port Harcourt campus, we have created a new law school. What we did was to create a campus within Nigerian Law School. And it was in the exercise of that power by the council that Enugu Augustine Nnamani campus was created, that Yola campus was created, Kanu campus was created. So there was no usurpation. There was National Assembly then. There was no legislative approval to go and create campuses. So that's why we believe that the existing legal regime should be left as it is. If you have trust in us, we are under your oversight. What we expect is to, in your oversight, invite us to raise concerns on various issues. And we shall equally be grateful if in the exercise of your oversight power, you visit all the campuses of Nigerian Law School. You will shed tears at the condition in which future lawyers, the condition where they live, the condition where they study. That was why we cannot thank enough the governor of Rivers State. For coming to the aid of Council of Legal Education. And how did he start? He didn't start with Port Harcourt. He started with Yenagoa campus. He paid a visit to Yenagoa campus. The DG took him to the hostel, took him to the classroom, and he found that the condition there was worse than Ikoyi prison. So he decided there and then that he will intervene in this infrastructural development of Nigerian Law School. And there and then, he gave us a promise that he will build 2 hostels and 1 auditorium, all worth 4 billion naira. Mr. Chairman, I want to equally adopt the submission made by Senator Ekwerem Madu. His view represents the view of majority of the stakeholders in the legal profession. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It would not be so. Because once you put it in a law, anybody who is from a Lawe, for instance, would insist that before you go and open a campus in Meduguri and Agungu, you will also open a campus in wherever it is. And you may not be certain that the Council of Legal Education would be prepared to establish that kind of campus. So my humble view is that this bill needs to look at the powers already existing, vested in the Council of Legal Education, which is the power they have exercised over the years since 1962 and established the 6 campuses that presently exist. Now, there is also an additional campus that is on in Port Harcourt, which has been approved. Through all the mechanisms set forth for such approval, due process was followed from the President down to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation. So I think that the point that I've tried to make in my memo is that this is not necessary at this time. The Council of Legal Education already has the power, it is exercising that power, and there is no need to constrain it with a legislation like this. I've made the point that there was some oversight in not mentioning that Port Harcourt has already been established. All that is happening is that it is being constructed, and at the time it was approved, there was no opposition to it. So I hope that this will be taken into account duly, and we will let sleeping dogs lie. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Leonard Silk. Mr. Fem.
The law has not been amended
to empower the Council of Legal Education to create campuses. Nowhere in that law are they allowed to do that. Furthermore, I think a very good point that has been made, I think well made by the President of the Bar, and I think the Chair of the Council of Legal Education, is inadequate funding. And I have asked some of the respected members, including Senator Smart, Adeyemi, my comrade, who moved this bill, who proposed this bill. What of funding? If you are going to have a multi-campus system, you must also guarantee that you are going to fund. And I think that is the bottom line. The last point, sir, and I think in an opening, in a public forum of this nature, we need to open up and engage in complete transparency. Yes, the capital vote for the law school is meager, in fact unacceptable. But we have about 5,000 students averagely annually in the law school. The current fees, because I'm speaking for the poor, the current school fees of the law school per student, the current fee is 296,000 naira. Please, and 20,000 naira application form, and that is 316,000 per student. If you multiply by 5,000 students, you get about 1.5 billion naira per annum from fees alone. Students also pay for accommodation and other things. Please, the point I'm making therefore, the Rivers example is commendable. It's exemplary. If you're also going to have a multi-campus system, because we're all talking about federalism, we must also tax the state government in each of the geopolitical zones to also contribute to the development of the law school. Because we are training lawyers that will be their own, they are their own students, their own children. And so all state governments must also be factored in talking about the multi-campus system. Thank you very much.
Lawyers in the house, you clapped yet again. Attorney General Rivers. Remember, we have your bill. We'll pass it anyway. The essence of Parliament is to continue to, amend. So if there are stakeholders who are not satisfied, there will be room for future amendment. That will be the attitude there. But I believe the next 2 weeks, we can achieve a lot by trying to reconcile some of these positions. And I believe the Secretary of Body of Benchers is here. Is he here? Secretary is here. President is here. And before we leave, Chief Ngige said, I'm still going to bring you back to the microphone for a minute or two to speak as to your own position on the LPA Act Amendment Bill, repeal and reenactment bill. So that's my quick advice, sir. And Chief Awomolo is still here, I believe. Let us see, okay? Legislative action. And believe me, we need to make progress.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.